Okay. Hi, Chelsea. How are you?
Hi, Susan. I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. Thank you for joining me. Today we are going to do SGT behind the scenes episode number 5. And it's going to be all about phase 2 and how it affects the real estate market.
Yeah.
So phase 2 started here when? When did we open up for phase 2?
This past Friday, about a week ago.
About a week ago. Forget even what day that was now. But we've been in it for about a week. And I feel a little bit like reminiscent of the week when we first went non-essential back in March, where there was so much information coming at us. Do you remember that? It's like every day something was changing in terms of what we could or couldn't do.
Yeah.
We've gotten so much information come at us in the last week about what phase 2 means. I'm grateful for the guidelines and some of the black and white stuff. And it's also definitely feeling like a brave new world.
Absolutely. And we've done it once before when we're thrown in and we have to sort it out and make a plan and use the tools, create the tools.
Yeah.
And look at it.
Yeah. So that's what we're going to share today. My goal is to share kind of our team's philosophy of what we want to do going into phase 2. And then probably just, I think, even get a little bit more philosophical on asking ourselves. We're slowing down right now to ask ourselves the question, even though society is telling us it's safe to get back into houses and society is telling us we can move forward, what do we want the future to look like for our real estate business and for our clients, right? Versus just
That's
react.
a great question.
What do we want to happen? So let's dive into that question for a little bit and let's talk about what are some of the, if you were to say the single most, the best gift that you received coming out of the COVID-19 kind of quarantine in terms of your business, what would that be for you?
Yeah, I would say there's been so many different things that have come out. And I think that what this has allowed us to do is get really, to go a little bit deeper with our sellers, to go deeper with our agents that we partner with to get these homes sold, to build deeper connections, and to kind of, everyone has been helping each other through, right? It's been, whether you're helping an agent, you're helping your seller, you're trying to connect all the dots. So I think that's one of the things. And, and I've heard people say, when is it going to get back to normal, right? I'm sure everyone has. And I think that I've made peace with, and I think we've done a great job as a team making peace with that. It's probably just a new normal and redefining what that looks like and slowing down and recreating systems that we've been moving and shaking through. And now we're taking the time to improve upon them, really look at them and see where we can get better. So I think that it's the gift really is slowing down, looking at what you're doing, and figuring out a plan to become the next version of SGT or become the next version of yourself or yourself as an agent or what have you.
Yeah, I love that. Slowing down. And even in a time where we're socially distancing, we felt closer to our clients in many ways during that time.
Yeah, absolutely.
But digitally more closer together. Digitally intimate, I think, is like a word. That digital intimacy, I think, is a word I kind of term I made up before. That the video somehow brought us closer together. I mean, even as a market center, we always have a ton of classes, but we're seeing more people join the classes that might not have driven to the office. They're further away, and now they're getting the value.
Absolutely, and I think that something that as agents we know very well is when you're invited into somebody's home, you're going to sit at their table with their family and talk about their real estate goals. They're opening up. They're in a vulnerable position, right? Bringing in someone that they don't really know very well yet. Well, something that is interesting is that now I'm in my home, meeting with them in their home. There's two people that come together that are both coming from a physical place of their home, but coming from a place of, I don't know, a little bit more vulnerability. We have to excuse kids might be running around in the background because we're at the mercy of what's going on, and we have to play by the rules, right? And so it's changed things. It's slight changes that have made really big impacts on relationships, which is really cool.
I love that. I would say one of the biggest gifts that I've seen, in addition to the bringing people together in a different way and a deeper level, is the time and efficiency that we've all gained. I mean, I'll be interested to see how many people coming out of this major cultural shift say, can I work from home? Because my commute eats up an hour of my day and I can be more productive if during that hour I'm working from home. And, you know, we've talked about as a team, as you know, how do we carry forward some of these virtual experiences and video consults so that we're not only are we being more efficient, but our clients are being more efficient. I mean, walk me through what happened before at like a normal showing, a normal listing. Like, how many listings would you get? Walk me through the seller's process getting ready for a showing.
Yeah. So previously, before this happened, what the structure was, and the goal still is the same. It's, we want to get the most amount of eyeballs on your property, get as many people in your property as possible so that they can get a sense of if they like it. That's the only option that we had. The only vehicle was that they'd physically come to your house, walk around your house, and, you know, and that was the way we did business. And so what that looked like for a seller is they would have to make a plan for themselves, the kids, the pets. They'd have to be out of the home. And a lot of these high volume listings, you know, they'd have to be gone all day, and sometimes for more than 1 day, 2 day. I even had a seller that had to be gone almost consistently from her home from Tuesday when we listed till Sunday when we presented offers. That's a huge, huge disruption in your life. And not only are you gone from your home, you're displaced, but the house needs to be show ready. So whether you're hosting that many people through your home or not, you still need to be at the ready at a you know, drop of a hat, you know? So that has been in the past just a disruption in your life that people expected came with selling your house.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what it looked like. And then from there, you know, it's common that with that many people through your house, sometimes things happen. Sometimes, you know, floating ceiling tiles, people poke up and see what's up there and it disrupts your tiles, or they don't take their shoes off or they leave their lights on. So there's a lot that comes along with allowing this type of activity to go on.
Outside of the COVID-19 health risks, there's inherent risks associated with damage or theft or some, you know, with anyone coming in your home, right? And I think that's one of the main reasons that some people choose to take off-market offers or sell to a family member, or they just don't want to deal with that hassle. Right now, we've found a solution to say, well, what if we could get you top dollar and nobody ever sets foot in your house until they write an offer?
Sure.
Imagine that world, because that's a big hassle. Okay, so flipping on the other side, so the agents, they got everybody out of the, or not the agents, I'm sorry, the sellers, they got everybody out of the house, the dogs, the kiddos, their spouse, maybe it's just them and they work from home and it's a disruption, right? Whoever they got out of the house to get the house ready. And they find out that the buyer that came through stayed for 5 minutes and really knew instantly it wasn't the right one for them, right?
Show up. That's happened too.
Show up. Yes, thank you. That is so defeating and deflating, and it creates anger, it creates resentment, it's, you know, all kinds of emotions. So now I want you to think on the flip side, if you're a consumer watching this, to the agents that might be watching this, and think about if you're that buyer's agent and you just drove 45 minutes out to a property. Let's say you live in the city and you drove out to show a property on Sodas Bay, for example. And the client was really, really excited about it from the photos. They get there, they walk in the house, and within 2 minutes, they realize it's not what they thought, right? Could that buyer have realized that from a virtual tour video?
Absolutely.
Right? Probably. I would say maybe not if it's a smell issue. Like if you walk in and smoke hits you in the face because the previous owner was a heavy smoker and you have big allergies and you're really sensitive to that, you're not going to tell that from a video, right? Unless the agent doing the tour discloses it. So no, not every situation, but most of the time they're going to know that layout just doesn't work for them. Something about it doesn't work for them. And that is going to not only save the seller time and hassle, it is going to save that buyer the time and hassle, because they probably had to leave their job early or make some concessions for childcare or who knows what to get there. And then the agent had to drive out there. So all these people lost productivity for something that could have been solved through video.
Sure. Absolutely. And when I talk to my sellers, we talk about there's different criteria that buyers use to make decisions, right? And so one of them is shoppability. And shoppability is what are the finishes? What does it look like? What is the curb appeal? What is the layout? Does it suit their need with bedrooms, bathrooms, things like that? And with the technology that we've been using, like Matterport, and using the digital tours, or even doing videos where you're walking through a house, a lot of those shoppability questions are answered just by tapping into some of the tools and resources that we're providing. And then there's livability. And livability is, does it smell funny? Is it, is the location not prime? Whatever. And those intangibles, like you said, Susan, if you were to check it out, see if it even fits for you before you commit your time to go there and be there, and everyone stops what they're doing, it can really expedite the process and save time and be really efficient.
Absolutely. So I'm all about efficiency. I'm all about getting the results for in the most proficient, productive manner. So I want to switch gears, and well, not switch gears, but I want to go down a little bit of a different path. Since phase 2 hit last Friday and opened up, a lot to celebrate there. Everybody's ready to get back out there. Can you walk us through, or can we chat about some of the mandates and guidelines that have come down from New York State in terms of, okay, now we can show properties if we do this, this, and this, right?
Yeah.
What are some of the things that we now have to figure out how to coordinate?
Yes, and it's a work in progress.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what we're doing to make sure that we're protecting our sellers and following those guidelines, sure that before a buyer or their agent, there's limits to how many people can even be in a home. Before they're even approved to go into the home, we want to make sure they haven't been exposed to COVID, that they haven't been sick with a COVID sickness in the past 14 days, that they haven't traveled outside of the area, just making sure that they are not exhibiting symptoms before they go into a house. So we have to document that. So we are sending questionnaires to anyone who's walking through the property, be it buyers, agents, home inspectors, myself, just to have some kind of physical document stating, what has your exposure been like and what are your symptoms like. So that's first and foremost. The other thing that I want to make sure is if someone's walking through the property physically, that we have a letter of pre-qualification from a bank to make sure that they're a viable buyer. And that, there is if there's intent, at least they have the financial, wherewithal that they can actually put a purchase offer in on the property. And then of course there's masks that are required, sanitizing before you go in, making sure that if you touch anything, one thing that I ask buyers agents, if you do open a door, leave it open so that our buyers know that somebody opened your closet door and they might want to go ahead and sanitize that. So these are some things that we're doing to make sure that we're keeping record of who's coming and going, and that we're doing our due diligence, being proactive to make sure everyone's safe.
Yeah, New York State, NYSAR, New York State Association of Realtors, has sent out publications, guidelines with certain mandates on what we have to do and certain recommendations and what they say you probably should consider doing this. The hard part about that is that some documents say health screening is a recommendation. Some documents and direct letters from NYSAR say it's mandatory. And so where do you draw the line? What do you follow? From a health and safety standpoint, I'd rather be the one that says to my client, I'm going to ask for a health screening to help protect you if that's a concern of yours and that's something the state's asking us to do. So we had to figure out, how do we streamline that? Because asking people to print something out, sign it, scan it back, that's a lot of work, right? So we automated a quick online form that they can fill out and they sign, and it stores right in our inbox. It's Jotform. Jotform.com is the automation tech tool, I guess you could call it. So we want to figure out, how do we exist in this phase 2 without massive disruption to our time and our clients' time, but still be able to protect them, right? So not every agent might be doing that. I think they really need to talk with their broker about what their broker is requiring. Our broker, Keller Williams, has said we will be doing health screenings of all our employees and all of our agents that come in the office, and we are asking you to do that for your business and for your clients as well. So I don't know how long that'll last, but I think the important thing is, if there's a requirement to if there's another layer of your business that's added on because of phase 2, figuring out how you can use technology to help you create a system to keep you sane is the only way to go, right? I can't imagine doing it manually.
Right. Absolutely.
Can't imagine. And then, so the pre-qual, that also, like you said, pre-qual proof of funds, that means that we're working with not only a ready and willing buyer, but an able buyer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then the other piece that you didn't mention, I think yet, unless I missed it, which is probably the most important piece, is we will not let them in for a physical showing unless they have verified, or unless they've confirmed that they've watched the video tour.
Yeah. Right.
So it's not like all of a sudden we can get in houses, virtual is going out the window. For some people it might be, but we've decided for us it's a great tool. Mm-hmm. So do you want to have a virtual tour option for all of your listings going forward, Chelse?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. And walk me through, what does that look like?
The virtual tour?
Yeah.
So where I think it's going to go, we have 2 different types of virtual tours. Actually 3. Number 1 is a Matterport, which is something that we have a photographer do, where they come in and they create, is it a 360-degree view, yeah, where you click through and you can interact with the property in a really unique way instead of just looking at stills. So that's one option. The other option that I've been considering is doing a video of each floor, where I go and I do the video. I can walk you through the video pretty quickly, talk through some of the features of the home, and that can be something that, you know, you can't interact with as much. Or we could do a Zoom tour, which is where everyone gets on a call. I'm there, I'm walking you through the property virtually, and then you can ask questions in real time with you or your buyer, and we can interact in that way. And there are benefits to all. And I think that for me, what I found is it depends on the property and our anticipated volume of interest.
Okay.
And what would best suit the property.
So we can go out on a limb publicly here to say to any prospective clients or current clients or you know, co-op agents listening, that we want to take a stand and make sure that every listing we put out there has a virtual option for touring. Even 6 months from now, when the market completely opens back up and COVID's behind us, hopefully, right? Knock on wood. And we can go back to normal, for lack of a better term. We want to keep virtual as a standard on our team, as a way to screen out buyers that just aren't going to be the one, based on they don't like the layout, whatever they don't like about the house. Screen them out so that saves their time and saves our sellers time. So we're going to put our stake in the ground and say, virtual is here to stay. Virtual is not going away, right?
Absolutely.
Yes. So is there anything else that we didn't talk about today in terms of phase 2 that you want to make sure we pause on to tell people about? We talked about, you know, virtual tours, must do a virtual tour, give us a pre-approval, must take a health screen. Anything else that you're seeing change?
The only other thing that I would mention is when you're meeting with clients, when you're meeting with when I'm meeting with upcoming sellers, I still like to do the Zoom tours. I think that we can schedule it we can get in quicker. We're not worrying about drive time and all of this. We can get together, and there's not, you know, it's quick, it's easy, and we can get it done. So I still really want to stick with that. I think that it's really been working, and I'm going to move forward with that as much as I possibly can.
Yeah, I think that on the buy team too, I've chatted with Alex about this, and you know, we think about in the dead of winter when we usually meet with buyers at the office, they meet with us, they have a consultation to put a game plan in place for their search, and then we move forward. Well, in New York State, what if we have or in Rochester, what if we have a huge snowstorm hit? Nobody wants to put their boots on and put their big coat on and truck into the office to meet us. So that could be a great option where, okay, rather than meet us, let's continue to use the video option. So basically what I'm trying to say is we want to have services for everybody. If someone prefers to meet in person, we can manage that. If video is an option, we have solutions for that. And we want to figure out a way to use the technology to make the experience better and more efficient for everybody.
Absolutely. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Now, one other thing I guess we should just dive into real quick is the challenge with that. So I guess one of the beauties of the pause or the shutdown was everybody had to play by the same rules.
Mm-hmm.
Did everybody know? But we should have, right? Everybody should have played by the same rules. That was the mandate. No physical showings. And so, the adoption rate of Zoom and teleconferencing was huge, or, really fast. And now that physical showings can happen again, the challenge in our industry, or any industry like ours, is going to be some people are going to keep using that technology and some people aren't, right? And so I guess I just put it out there, what would it have to take for it to be a requirement for property listings going forward, that every agent that has a listing does some type of a virtual option? Is that just going to be over time, it's going to morph, or can we rally together and have that be the new standard? And I know you don't have the answer, but I just kind of want to put it out there, that's the issue.
Yeah, I mean, I would love that. And I want to say that for Susan Glenn's team listings, I want to make sure that it's easy to show our listings. And I would hope that buyer's agents, after this whole 2.5 month long time period, see that it is so easy to just send it to your buyer, have them take a look, and then get the feedback from there. So we're going to keep it user friendly. We want people to see our listings and do business with us for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So if you're an agent watching this and you're struggling with how do you adapt to your business in phase 2, what can you do? What can't you do? Definitely, talk to your broker for sure. Get their guidance. Definitely feel free to reach out to us. We can share any of our systems and tools with you. That health questionnaire we mentioned, that is kind of an automated system. We can share that with you. We want to rally together to move our industry forward into this next phase and make it a win-win for everybody involved, from the agents to the clients and the customers. We want this to be a really great thing for our industry and really launch us into the future. Any parting words, Chelse?
I think we covered it. I think we really narrowed it down to its essence. So I think I got it. I think
awesome. We're good. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. We will see you agents out in the field.
Bye.
Bye, guys.